So making some slight adjustments to these, making certain symbols bigger or smaller as I feel like they need to be a little bit closer, just always making small adjustments. I think all these are working well, and it's hard to know which one will work well until we start to maybe figure out color and we try to figure out the final thickness of the strokes. So let's play around with each symbol to see if we can tweak it to make each symbol a little bit better. So right now, I'm going to bring out my stroke panel. So I have my stroke panel right here, and right now it's got about a 2.4 point thickness. So I can make it thicker if I want to have it be a stronger symbol, or thinner to be more elegant. That's probably a little too thin. When I zoom out, I'm starting to lose it. And you'll notice when I created this symbol, you'll notice that I have these nice rounded corners. And I just went over to my corner right here in my stroke panel, and I just did a round join, and it kind of helps to add, right now this is default, which is a meter join, which is kind of a sharp angle. And when I go over to round join in my stroke panel, it kind of softens it. So just kind of a little trick there, kind of showing you since I didn't go step by step through creating the symbol. So we could do the same thing we've done before, and we can duplicate, and let's test out some different stroke weights. So right now it's on a 2-point stroke weight, and let's see if I can't reduce it and make it thinner, and then increase this one and make it really thick, just to kind of see kind of the Goldilocks situation, and what, not too thick and not too thin. I want to make sure that it's a nice level. And you can also split the difference, so I can always do a 3.5 if I think that's too thick, and just reducing the stroke weight on that, and just trying to find the right thickness. So I think what I'm going to do after kind of seeing how that looks is I'm just going to increase the stroke weight just a little bit. You never want to have anything too thin for the same reasons I mentioned before. When you zoom out, you start to kind of lose the lines, you lose the design. And so increasing it, I'm going to split the difference and maybe do like a 2.3. It doesn't have to be 2, 3, it could be something in between. It's all about you to find that perfect thickness. So now I can really make out that symbol now that's thick. I think there is such a thing as too thick. It starts to look too chunky and lose its elegance. So let's go back to 2.3. So I feel really happy with that symbol so far. I feel like that is the strongest. We can continue to play with stroke weights here as well. So what we could do is we can select all, and I'm going to hold down the shift key and just deselect this outer circle shape. So now I just have the inside selected, and let's see if I can just make this thinner. And to make it easier on myself, I can right click and I can just group those together. So now this is all kind of grouped together, and let's see if I can't maybe reduce the weight and have kind of a different contrast of weights, which I think makes it a more complicated, in a good way, icon. So let's slide this out. We got to be able to compare side by side, and let's go back and do the same. I'm going to get my eyedropper tool, and I'm going to sample this thickness of the outer circle, and it's going to adapt to the same stroke. So now that's all the same stroke, and we can see how that looks compared to the different contrasting strokes, thin and thick. And we can make this thicker and this thinner. So just trying to see what communicates our idea the best, what just looks better overall. So kind of looking at these, kind of zooming out and doing a visibility test. Definitely the not the too thick, but kind of that medium thickness of stroke probably looks the best. I do feel like I want to reduce it a tad. Might kind of feel like it's the right thickness. We can also, we could fill in any of these shapes. If we want to make that triangle more obvious, we can select, I believe it already is a triangle shape. I can right click, ungroup, and there's our little triangle shape. I can toggle on my fill. I'm going to toggle on a fill. I can end up making that a red color or something that really stands out. I feel like when I do that, it makes the triangles more obvious because you see that center triangle, but you also see the triangle that's created on the outside, kind of this overlapping shape. And I think that works really well. And if you ever doubt yourself, create a copy and go back to what you had and go, you know what? I need to kind of test this out a little bit. Which one do I think looks good? And what I like about the filled in is this gives us an opportunity when we get to color to maybe have a standout color there. So if we wanted to do a blue, or in our case we're going to end up doing gold because that's what the client requested, we can have opportunities to figure out what that looks like. Might still need to do a stroke and then do a fill on the inside. So just kind of not bringing it, just doing color for a moment just to kind of go, okay, does it look better filled in? What do we think about that? So I think that's probably the winner. And we can move on. The leaf, I think the stroke, we could just reduce that a little bit to see how maybe a thinner stroke looks. But I kind of like the consistent stroke on all of these, really. So I think that's going to be kind of the theme throughout. And this is really interesting. We could end up playing with contrast with color. I'm going to continue to keep everything in grayscale so color doesn't become a problem to our creativity. Sometimes when you add too many new things like color and typography, you start to get overwhelmed with different variations. So we'll stick with color later, but just kind of getting an idea of different shades that we could do with this that could work, because we can emphasize the M. I'm just doing the eyedropper tools, just a quick way to kind of get something the same color. I think maybe keeping the M one color or one shade and then keeping the U a different shade will help differentiate the M and the U instead of feeling like one big symbol. So it's great how different shades and color can help a symbol as well. Okay, so after kind of looking at this, I'm realizing, you know what? I don't think I like this as an option. It looks like a crown. I mean, I see the M, I see the triangles, but I feel like it's a little stiff. And really liking those rounded corners of the other options better. This one seems a little stiff. And we don't want to have that for our amazing life coaching brand. So this is a time where, hey, you're going to start to eliminate options. So just eliminating that option. And now we're left with 4 great choices that we can refine further with color.